views expressed on this program are those of the hosts, guests, and callers, and are not necessarily those of this station, its management, or other advertisers. You're listening to Transformation Talk Radio.
Are you ready to heal your mind, body, and spirit? You can give yourself the gift of whole body wellness. Stay tuned for the next hour as Audrey Michel brings you the new hit show, Rewired Life Radio. Learn to love, heal, celebrate. On Transformation Talk Radio, Audrey is going to take you on a journey to healing and wellness by sharing her infinite wisdom and creating incredible conversations with the expert guests she brings on. Get ready to rewire your life. Here is your host, Audrey Michel.
Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to Rewired Life Radio, where we learn to love, heal, and celebrate. Of course, I'm your host, Audrey Michel, and I have to tell you, I find this show really funny. It's a really funny play on time. So the 5 to 10 minutes before the show goes live at 1:03 feels like an hour, and the hour show feels like 5 or 10 minutes. So it's really funny. So I have to find ways to distract myself in that 10 minutes. And of course, Facebook maybe fills that time. And that's what I was doing today. I was scrolling my Facebook feed, and as things do, this video popped up on my feed at the exact right time. Thank you, universe, of course. But I have to tell you about it because it hit me in a way that was just well, this is what today's show is about. So it's America's Got Talent. Well, I guess Britain's Got Talent. So the British version of the show. And it's this 15-year-old boy named Kyle Tomlinson had been on Britain's Got Talent before. And, the caption says, after being harshly rejected years ago, this boy has come back and is going to sing for you. And he sings the song Hallelujah, and he sings it gorgeously, right? And of course, I'm a sucker for these things, and I have tears in my eyes, just like everybody else in the audience, watching this. And he gets done, and Simon Cowell, he asks, well, who is it that told you that last time, you weren't good enough and you needed to go get a teacher? And he said, I thought he was going to say Simon Cowell because that's usual. And it was this other guy. And, they were talking about it. And Simon asked, essentially said, good for you for showing back up after somebody told you you were not good enough. So that's what today's show is about. It's all about finding our worthiness after feeling like we're not good enough. So how to shift from this feeling, this gut feeling of I'm not good enough into a place of I'm totally worth it. So as I'm sitting here in the minutes before my show, crying about this kid in Britain showing back up after being told he wasn't good enough, and going back and practicing and nailing it, what does that look like? How do you get to that place? And more importantly for today, his journey here was somebody told him he wasn't good enough. Now, what if you're the person telling yourself you're not good enough? How do you shift out of that? A heavy question. And so that's what we're going to focus on today. Of course, if you've been listening to the show at all, this month is all about digging deeper into the concepts of my online masterclass, Soul Awakening, and how to rewire your life. And a really important thing, last week we talked about finding unconditional love for yourself. And today we're going to talk about how to get past some of these really deep, hurtful feelings, for example, not feeling good enough. And we're going to talk about it, of course, in the way of these neuroplastic pathways and how we short circuit our emotions. And, so I've been talking about now for a few weeks. And, how do we start to break that short circuit of telling ourselves we're not good enough, or taking on somebody else's words, i.e. in this video, this kid on Britain's Got Talent, of not taking on the words of somebody else, whether it be somebody in a power position, which is what he experienced, or if it's somebody you trust or a peer, a parent or somebody raising you as a child, or a peer at school telling you you're not good enough, or a peer at work now as an adult telling you you're not good enough. How do you not take that on? And if you did take it on, or if you believe it yourself, how do you start to break that short circuit? Um, and so this is really what my 6-week class, Soul Awakening, is all about: breaking these short circuits, starting to um, use my process. And my process to healing, I talk about it all the time. It's all about loving yourself, healing your body and mind, and celebrating life. So, of course, if you want to know more about this class, you can always go to audreymichel.com and learn more. And in the meantime, it launches on September 19th is the beginning of the class. And in the meantime, I've got all kinds of free trainings that I'm doing for you to learn more about this class. And so, like I said, this process to rewire your life, to break these unhelpful short circuits we've created with our emotions, is this process that I used to heal from 17 years of chronic pain and disease. And it's what I continue to use to live from a place of alignment, and to listen to inner wisdom, and to listen to my higher self. And today's show is no different. And one of the things I wanted to talk about is, how do we create these short circuits? How does this even happen, right? Like, nobody wants to create a circuit that's like, I'm not good enough, and really make a pattern in our life to believe that for ourselves. Like, nobody intends on doing stuff like that. So how does this even happen? And again, just to review what these neuroplastic pathways are, it sounds really complicated, and it can be, and it cannot be. If you break it down, we all have these neuroplastic pathways. Essentially, it's our brain, it's our nervous system, and it's our way towards learning, both physically, emotionally, spiritually, all of the above. And we create these circuits within learning. And of course, the example I like to use is, an infant learning to walk. It's really stumbly at the beginning. And as these neuroplastic pathways begin to organize themselves and short circuit themselves, walking becomes easier, less stumbly, right? Like the toddler, the infant, is walking more smoothly. And so how does this then apply, these short circuits that we are building and organizing for ourselves around not feeling good enough? And what do I mean by that? And where does this come from? So here's the thing. We like to skim over these feelings thinking they're normal, right? Maybe we have one painful event, again, going back to this Kyle that I saw on Facebook, singing beautifully on Britain's Got Talent. He has one incident where he goes and he puts himself out on the line, and he gets told, you're not good enough. And he has a choice. He can make it unsafe for him to do that again, right? Because that didn't feel good. That doesn't feel good to put yourself out on the line and to be told, thank you for showing up, but that's not good enough. That doesn't feel good. And so we have a choice. We can organize these short circuits, these neuroplastic pathways. We can allow them to organize themselves in a way that says, "Ooh, boy, I do not want to feel that again." And we can say singing's not safe, or sharing our opinion isn't safe, or whatever it is we make up for ourselves. It's not safe, so I'm not going to do that again. I'm not going to show up in that way again. And so we allow our brain waves, our neuroplastic pathways, to organize themselves in a way of avoidance, right? Avoiding that situation again. And, we all do this. This is a very common thing. And it's something I hear quite often. And some of the examples that I would say of not feeling good enough, for example, at your job, it might show up as a lack of confidence. It might show up as not volunteering for projects, not asking for a raise, not taking a vacation because you feel like you need to prove your loyalty or your worth ethic, etc. And then it even shows up, I see a lot of women who come and they sit on my sofa, and some of their concerns show up as not feeling like a good enough wife or a good enough mother. And, that shows up as feeling exhausted, exhausting yourself in a way of, keeping the perfect house or making sure the kids are in every activity, running yourself ragged, like driving all over to soccer practice, piano practice, whatever. Always saying yes to other people about, watching their children, being the queen of the carpool, and just essentially not taking time for yourself. And then would you even know what to do with that time if you had it, right? Some of us, if that pathway is strong enough, I talk to women who are just like so far past knowing what taking care of themselves even look like that they can't even fathom what they would do with an hour that is literally for them. So that's kind of what we're talking about, is these patterns, right? These negative patterns that we have created for ourselves. So these three words, this not good enough, can run our life without us even knowing it. And that's what we're talking about today. And I'm so excited. So I have a guest today, Michelle Tegola, and she is here. She's going to join us next segment and for the third segment and share her story and how she overcame this not feeling good enough, and then what she does in her work to help her clients shift out of not feeling good enough and into totally worth it. And of course, in the final segment, as I've been doing this month of August, I'll be taking your questions. So if you have a question about how you can shift out of not feeling good enough, or if you're curious if are some of these feelings that I'm dealing with, are these not good enough feelings? If you don't even know, right? Like, is this pattern the one that you're talking about? You can call in at 800-930-2819, or you can send us a message on the transformationtalkradio.com website. Type it in. Justin's going to be collecting questions, and then in the last segment, I am going to be answering those. So, we're going to take a quick break. Of course, you're listening to Rewired Life Radio with me, Audrey Michel, and we are talking about how to shift from not feeling good enough to totally worth it. And if you're interested in learning more about my coaching or find free meditations, you can always go to audreymichel.com, which is where there's going to be more information about my class, Soul Awakening. So stay tuned, and we are going to welcome today's guest, Michelle Tegola, a woman's empowerment coach, which is awesome. Welcome her to the show and learn more about worthiness and what that means to her life and her work. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Are you ready to stop stress, anxiety, and low self-esteem from running your life? Join award-winning author Dr. Friedemann Schaub for Empowerment Radio and learn breakthrough solutions to switch out of survival mode and approach every day with great ease, joy, and purpose. Tune in the first and third Wednesday at 11 a.m. Pacific to Empowerment Radio with host Dr. Friedemann Schaub on Transformation Talk Radio. Visit thefearandanxietysolution.com to learn more.
Transformation Talk Radio is dedicated to the education and awareness of Lyme disease.
Welcome to Lyme Talk Radio. I'm Dr. Pat Basile, the host of the Dr. Pat Show, and I am so thrilled that we've created this venue for all of you out there.
Dr. Pat Basile will be bringing the most innovative, groundbreaking information, research, treatment innovations, and stories from those it affects every day.
What we have heard is that you want to ensure for us that we keep positive, holistic, uplifting, transformative talk radio on the air. We're excited to bring you the contemporary conversations about Lyme disease.
We promise not to let the light fade on Lyme.
So fasten your seatbelts. We've got lots more to share with you in the weeks to come.
Tune into Lyme Talk Radio with Dr. Pat and help keep our mission strong on TransformationTalkRadio.com.
Tune in to The Truth is Funny with Colette Steffen each Wednesday at 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern on TransformationTalkRadio.com. This hit show will have you thinking outside the box and riding the wave of infinite potential. Join Colette on the Higher Self Network, inspiring listeners to shine their brilliance and ensure success while roaring with laughter as they recognize the humor of the giant cosmic joke. Visit thetruthisfunny.com.
Gain powerful insight and practical tools to support you on your spiritual journey. Access your higher self and tune in every second and fourth Thursday at 12 p.m. Pacific to A Life Untethered with Andrew Martin, Walking the Path of Freedom. Andrew is a highly attuned, intuitive oracle, energy worker, spiritual teacher, and international radio host. For more about Andrew and his services, visit thelightones.com.
Calling all moms, it's time to awaken your vibrant, intuitive, loving self in every area of your life. Join host Debbie Pokornik as she shares thoughts, stories, and tools to help you stand in your power. Listen to Vibrant, Powerful Moms helping everyday women create extraordinary lives. Mondays at 2:30 Pacific, 5:30 Eastern. For more information about Debbie, visit empoweringenergy.com. That's empowering with letters NRG.com.
Okay, you guys, we are back on Rewired Life Radio. I'm your host, Audrey Michel, and today we are talking about how to feel totally worth it. And in the first segment, I talked about how rewiring your life requires looking at what patterns are running your life. Specifically, where are you feeling not good enough? You know, when I started looking for guests for today's show, Michelle popped onto my radar, and it really only took one sentence on her website for me to be super excited. And I was like, well, this girl's totally going to be on my show. She says, I help women who struggle with self-confidence and worthiness to achieve empowerment and find their inner strength by embracing their story. And so I wanted to introduce today's guest. So totally pumped. Michelle's a women's empowerment coach, an author, a speaker, and a mother of three. Michelle, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Audrey. I'm so excited and so blessed to be a part of what you're doing here, spreading the message.
Thank you.
Yeah. So
I know I'm so excited for you. On the break, we were talking about, in the days leading up to the show, I always have Facebook posts, and it was really cute. Like your friends and family were just like blowing up your Facebook feed, like, Michelle, we're so excited. And that makes me like so excited for you. So
I know.
So hi to all of them.
Yes. Hey, everybody. Yeah, I'm so excited, and I'm so grateful for all of them. It's so true. So you know what? I'm just so excited to talk about this because it is really a huge important part of I found my healing, definitely personally and in my business as well. And I think, where it all started for me, was in childhood, like it does for most. I had really fond memories of growing up. They were really happy times, but I also remember the day that it all changed. Within my childhood, I had thought, things were happy and but things really started to switch over at about the age of about 17, when I started to realize that there was a darker side that was being hidden from us as a family to just really keep the family together. And I know, many couples stay together for these reasons, but it was something I had no idea about, until one day, after about 22 years of marriage, my mother found the courage to recognize she had had enough. And she found the strength to leave, really for her own well-being and her survival. And I was forced to grow up really, really quickly. Yeah. And I'm grateful for that, though. But, and that's just, how the cookie crumbled. And, once she left, things really went from bad to worse. My father, he found a really tough time dealing with 3 children, and it was just a lot to deal with. So soon I was on my own at 17 and, really having to fend for myself. But, life was tough. I worked hard to finish high school and, I went on to finish college. And I literally, it's funny, like that image is really like clawing my way ahead in life, and having, earned some successes along the way. And as I forged my way further, I was just yet again, like life happens, right? Ups and downs. I was yanked back, and I was really challenged when my clinical practice in massage therapy started to tank. And, when some things, they're just out of your control, all you can do is just stand there and, and just watch it crumble. And where I was, it was a difficult situation because, when your expenses are like way up there and your income dips, below that, it's really when things get difficult, right? Things just aren't adding up. And those were certainly some of the toughest times in my life. Here I was, I've been married for about a year and a half. I had my first child that was just born. And I honestly can say, I wasn't sure how we were going to get by. It was tough, but what?
You start to question.
Yeah, you do. Like you just, you really are down on your knees. And, I find though that, when things are tough and when, you taste the bitter, I feel like the sweet is even sweeter, and so I was able to appreciate the better times. And, and what got me out, and I did thankfully get out of it, was just really looking up to God and asking for help. And it was those dreams, like those dreams that I had that I swear, Audrey, they saved me. It was my ability to dream that saved me, right? And, and it's funny, right? Because I remember when we were kids, right? You dream super crazy dreams. I don't know about you, but, I was obsessed with Superman. I was constantly like jumping off the picnic table, trying to get some momentum to fly. Thank God I didn't try anything higher. But, I just, right? Like the Princess Castle. And we dream just so limitlessly when we're children. And we just have that simple belief that it's achievable, right? Like absolutely, right? And, but just something happens when we grow up, sadly, just somewhere along the way, someone tells you that you're not smart enough or you're not pretty enough or, you're not good enough. And maybe it was, experiences that culminated for you to feel that way. And then you start to dial down your dreams and, you're told that your dreams are unrealistic. And sadly, on a subconscious level, and, we believe it, and so really what do you do, when you feel like that, when you feel that you're not good enough? And I would have to say, after some soul searching and thinking about it, to me, the magic and the key is to open yourself up to the possibility that you are worthy, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And I think what I'm hearing from you is this ability to move out of the drama, if you will, and the littleness of the human experience, right? We kind of get stuck in this repetitive, whatever. Yeah. And in the dream, I think is what allowed you to step back and see a larger view of what you're up to and be like, is this serving me? Is this drama, this littleness serving the bigger picture of my life? That's what I heard in dreaming.
Yeah, it absolutely did. And, once that spark was there, and it was always there, like I just always had that in me, that little spark. I knew that, there was more that I wanted. But I also knew that I had healing to do. And, I was lucky enough to, find a life coach. It was amazing how I found her, and I started to do the deep work and the healing. And, I learned about how I was really blaming a lot on my life, right? I was really playing that blame game. And I'm telling you, nobody was winning from it. Like it was not a good game to play. So, so I started to recognize that, and, I released the blame and, really started to become accountable, because I was not accountable. I didn't want to know what was going on, in my bank account. I didn't want to know what was going on with anything. I just want to go my merry way and just, hope and pray that, things were going to work out. But that doesn't really serve you either, right? Like you really have to, adult, as people are saying
Adulting can
nowadays,
be hard.
right? It can be hard,
and
but
unfun. But I
not.
think you hit the nail on the head there, being accountable,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
and being accountable for yourself and being accountable for the fact that, it's time to grow up.
It is. And like you really give away your power when you behave in that way. Like I was actually, somewhat irresponsible and, blaming others. But when I became accountable, I literally took my power back. And you can't control everything in your life, but you can certainly control, what's within your sphere. And you can also control how you react to it. And that was so much of my healing. And, I really became much more self-aware. Awareness, as we know, is huge. And I was aware of my self-talk, how worthy, I was and how worthy I thought I was. Because I catch myself saying things like, oh, I could never afford that. Or, when I reach this income level, then I can have that, that kind of thing. And I really had to learn to shift my mindset into the now.
It's a sneaky thing. I was talking about this in the first segment, like this not good enough, those 3 words, they're sneaky little words. And sometimes we don't recognize, like you said, recognizing is the first step, but sometimes it just sneaks under the radar and affects us more than we know.
It is. It's crazy. And at that point, I remember thinking that I was really moving along in my healing and doing well, but out would pop things like that. And it would shock me. Oh my God, did I just say that? And we know there's just such power in your words. So being aware of that, you're right, was huge. So, and it takes time. There's certainly no switch that you can just flip and say, okay, now I'm worthy, right? It's becoming aware, right? It's doing the work.
It's baby steps.
It's baby steps. It's really recognizing where you're at. And for me, it was really a daily practice of love. Like I really had to learn to love myself so much and to connect with God and to be honest, I really had to honor the things that were holding me back, right? The parts of my story that left me feeling unloved. I felt abandoned. I felt unlovable and really, unworthy of more. But, this is where, my message really has come about now in what I'm doing because, I started to embrace my story instead of blocking it out, right? So much of us, we want to hide our story, the ugly parts, the pain parts. We want to hide it to the world and put on that face and be positive, right?
Yes.
It's good, but I mean, you don't, when you really own it, which is tough to do, but when you embrace it, that was the shift for me. And I'll tell you, it was when I recognized that I deserved it, that I deserved everything and this was very key, that everything I'd ever wanted, even if it was just simply to be loved, like not even just those, material things, but it was when I hit 40, right? Of course, when I hit 40, right?
Things really came into view when you hit 40. Michelle, we're going to need to take a break, but quickly, I want to share where people can go and find more about your story, because on your website, you do beautifully share your story. So if you go to michelletegola.com, we can learn more about you. And of course, you're on Facebook and Instagram and all of the fun stuff. So Michelle, we're going to talk more about your story and your work when we come back after the break. So of course, I'm Audrey Michel, and you're listening to Rewired Life Radio. You can always go to audreymichel.com and find out more information about my work and the upcoming guests on Rewired Life Radio. So when we come back, Michelle and I are going to talk more about her work around worthiness. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Tune in to Lucid Planet Radio with Dr. Kelly Neff. This hit show will illuminate your senses and empower you beyond your daily stressors and hardships. Renowned psychologist and author Dr. Kelly will captivate you with far-reaching topics and amazing guests as you wake to the greatest version of yourself. Learn to tap into your intuitions, think critically about our world, heal emotional and psychological wounds, and follow your passions to live your dreams. The Lucid Planet. Welcome home. Visit lucidplanetradio.com for more information.
Curious about the meaning of life? Do you want to deepen your spiritual practice? The School for Esoteric Studies offers online training to spiritual seekers from all paths of life and individual coaching. Our courses synthesize Eastern and Western spiritual traditions based on meditation, study, and service applied to everyday life. The school also organizes group meditations each year to benefit humanity. Whether you're just beginning to reflect on the spiritual side of your life or are a more experienced spiritual seeker, the school warmly welcomes you to join our group. To learn more about our courses and services, please visit esotericstudies.net. That's esotericstudies.net. Are you struggling in a relationship and deeply craving some tools and support to get things back on track? Do you crave having a loving, compassionate relationship with Mr. Right, but always seem to pick Mr. Wrong? Well, Sarah Luce can help. She's created a 4-week online course starting September 28th that will teach you how to shift your energy and behavior to have new transformative outcomes. And you're going to get a personal one-on-one session with Sarah to ensure you get powerful, personal results. Sign up today at sarahluce.com.
Have you ever said to a friend, I am trying to be less stressed. I am hoping to meet someone special. Or how about, I am working on getting a job I love. Hi, I'm Eve from Elite Tarot, host of the weekly show Mainstream Metaphysics Radio. Words like hoping, wanting, and trying may seem innocent. However, they carry with them emotional weight that actually blocks energy. Next time you start to say these words, say instead, I am becoming less stressed. I am looking forward to meeting someone special. I am pursuing a job I love. While your brain may resist, note how your body physically feels as possibility of success suddenly appears. As an intuitive coach and professional tarot card reader, I work with clients worldwide on using energy effectively to embrace joy. If you'd like to schedule a session, please visit my website at elitetarot.com. That's ELITETAROT.com.
Welcome back to Rewired Life Radio, where we learn to love, heal, and celebrate. I'm your host, Audrey Michel, and today we are talking about how to shift from not feeling good enough to feeling totally worth it. So my guest is Michelle Tegola, and she's a women's empowerment coach and has this beautiful story of finding worthiness in her own life, which she shared with us in the last segment. And so this segment, I want to shift into how worthiness shows up for her coaching practice and in her leadership roles. So Michelle, first of all, share with us again where we can learn more about you.
Definitely, yeah. So at michelletegola.com is really where you've got everything, about what I do and what my vibe is about, and some little freebies there too.
Mm-hmm. Always fun.
Yeah.
So let's start here. What are some of the ways, because so the last segment kind of ended where we were talking about how this not good enough it's a sneaky, it sneaks under the radar and kind of nips at us when we don't notice. Yeah. And so what's some of the ways this not good enough is showing up for your clients?
Well, it's everywhere. Everybody has it, right? And honestly, in business, it's, I coach a lot in business and people that are starting their own businesses, and it really sneaks up, when people have got the dream board going, they've got, their affirmations, they know their income goals, they've got it all down, but that magic piece is really and fully stepping into, your worthiness. Like, do you really feel worthy of these things you want? Do you really believe it? And, that magic of believing there's been books written on it, right? It's huge. And, what I do really is I ask for permission, to be, really open with them. It is quite disarming to do this with someone, but, I ask for that permission to really tell them what I see in them. And, when I'm able to speak with someone and just tell them, I see the potential in you to, make this amount of money. I see you speaking on stage. I see you, and I'm just really open. And it's amazing what can happen when, someone is telling you something about yourself that you don't see in yourself. It's crazy, right? Where you just, wow, well, she's saying it, it must be true.
Yeah.
Right?
It's almost like you can see the other person like sitting up straighter, like, really?
Yes. Really? You think that of me? Oh,
yeah.
Wow. And because she said it, it must be true. And it's really amazing to see the energetic shift in someone when you are open that way and you can just let them know that. And I think that, when you don't believe in yourself, when you're not feeling worthy, it is really huge when you surround yourself with people that do believe in you, that can believe in you for you, and give you that sort of strength. And, that all it is just that spark of possibility. Could it be, that, wow, that this person has just, quadrupled my goals and they see it in me and I can see their conviction. And, when you can see that in them, that they're just starting to shift, they're just open to it. That honestly, it's like the magic is in that moment of possibility.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm finding that, as we're working through, each task along the way, and they're having, a small success in their business, in their life, and it just works as a stepping stone, and their posture gets better. Their, that worthiness, that sense is just, one step further and further. And then, we really, I work a lot with, having them step into that leadership role themselves. Because I think that, once you're, starting to, step into that role, and you find that your mess, your issues, they really melt away, right? Because now you're serving others. Now you're looking to, inspire them, and by doing that same thing, it's just it's amazing, right? How our own issues can go away. Like you'll see when people do volunteer work, it's just amazing. You could have all sorts of issues, you're on your own, but when you are serving others, that energy it's just so magical, and what happens is so huge, and it helps you to really step into it.
Yeah, the idea of coming from a bigger place and serving a bigger purpose than, again, going back to, what we were talking about last segment of kind of running in the rat wheel of the littleness and the drama of what's going on in our own life. And I can't help but think about I had a guest on the show, Denise Onofre. She wrote the book, Your Relationship with You. And one of the things she writes about in her book is our brain loves to create problems,
Yes, exactly.
because it likes to solve problems. So it creates this thing so it can solve the thing. But if you're able to step out of it and, like you said, dreaming or being in these leadership positions where it becomes bigger than yourself, you're able to shift out of the littleness and get out of the forest and be able to see all of the forest beyond like all the trees in front of your face. But
Absolutely.
that's what I'm hearing from you.
Yeah, absolutely. And, when you're helping someone work, and move forward in their business, it's definitely about, being action oriented, but also, just really, like we said, just shifting that focus off of yourself and looking at, who are you serving? What is your heart-led purpose with your business? And, what is your why? Like, what is, it's like that why power is so much more, powerful than what you think it might be, right? People are starting their business to, they've got their dreams. They've always wanted to do this. They want to make money, obviously. And, and then they've got these income goals, but it's getting really deep with, why, deep down why, connecting with that why, connecting with your story again, really stepping into that and embracing it. And then, all the rest of that day-to-day stuff, it just melts away because it's not important anymore. Your struggles that you're going to have in life, that you're going to have in business, they're there, accept that they're part of life. But if you can look at that as opportunities to grow, as learning opportunities, that you're not failing by any means, you're only learning. This is just so huge. And I see that, when we're doing coaching, when I'm working with people in their business, and you see that people are just flying. Like, there's just nothing better than when you see someone like I have, one person I've been working with for so long, and, she's a single mother. And man, like she was so shy to speak in front of people. And, she had that spark though, that we spoke about earlier. She knew she was meant for more. And, she just had so many struggles in her life. And it was at the times when we had those conversations about like, remember those struggles. Those are teachers to you that, you're meant for more. You're not going to go back there. You're moving forward. Right. And, allow that to inspire you. And now, I can see her going from, this person that was kind of shy, kind of timid, knew what she wanted, but just didn't know how to go about doing it, to now absolutely thriving. Her energy, just even on social media, her posts are so positive. I mean, we've become, such good friends in the process, because you just that connecting, and it's so wonderful to see that transformation. And, for my own work, to see that is so huge. Like every time you see someone healing from their story, you heal that much more. Yeah.
Yeah. So I know, I get to speak to a lot of women in business and coach women in business. And I really feel like being in business for yourself, being an entrepreneur, I feel like it's a fast track to recognizing your own issues, because unlike going to work and having somebody tell you what to do, like you have to come up with it on your own. And so when you're being held back in your life, you're being held back in your business. Yeah. So I really find it fascinating, like what shows up in life shows up in business.
It's funny.
Being able to work through that.
It's so true because, when I hired my life coach, I say, I knew I had work to do, but initially when I had hired her, it was for business. I was so frustrated in my own business. I wanted to move further. And, as she did the coaching with me and started to delve deeper and started to realize that I had all sorts of wounds that I need healing, she was like, whoa, we need to work through this stuff. You can't ignore that. And it was only then, like I'll tell you, I checked off all the boxes in business. I was fierce. But once I really started to heal and to acknowledge and become accountable, only then did, who I was as a person, just talk about stepping into, my greatness and into my light and really owning it. It was only then, you're right. And you have to deal with it when you're in business. You do.
You do. You have to.
Yeah.
Michelle, this is so great. I can't believe how fast our time is going.
I know.
But so much of this is resonating with me and so many other people of, feeling not good enough. It's universal. You can't escape it. It's a human experience for sure. And we can all try to deal with it and escape it, but it's still going to be there. And so like you're saying, you have to look at these things and heal them. And it's like it once we get it healed in one part of our life, it kind of shifts in the other. And I feel like, the universe only shows us what we're able to deal with, right?
Right.
And so in some areas, you're just like, but I've been going along just fine. Like, and all of a sudden the universe is like, okay, we're ready to deal with it over here.
Yeah. Exactly. It's so true. I've definitely had that in my life for sure.
Yeah. Okay. Well, my gosh, Michelle, tell us one more time how to learn more about you and stay in touch with you.
Well, certainly, I've got everything on michelletegola.com. You can definitely connect with me there. I really want to hear from all of you. I want to hear your stories and in whatever place that you're in. And, I'm on social media as well, on Instagram and on Facebook. And you can find me at #BossBabeMompreneur. And, you know what? I'm out there. Yeah, I'm happy to connect with people for sure.
Absolutely. Michelle, thank you for shedding some light on some of these, difficult but important topics. And so I want to invite everybody. One thing I've been doing is on my Facebook group, it's Rewired Life-Awakening. I've been doing Facebook Lives after the show to kind of discuss my favorite parts. And so you can ask your questions there. And I know, Michelle, you'll be popping in and out too to answer if people have questions. We can definitely show up there. So awesome. Yeah. Michelle, thank you so much for being with me.
Thank you.
Yeah, and sharing your ideas around, feeling not good enough and shifting into that worthiness. So everybody, you're definitely going to want to check out what Michelle is up to. Of course, her website, michelletegola.com. So this is Audrey Michel. You're listening to Rewired Life Radio. And as a reminder, next segment, I will be taking your questions. You can call in at 800-930-2819 or send your questions via the Transformation Talk Radio website. So we will be right back.
Awareness is universal. Establishing a living awareness through meditation brings peaceful, healthy, and creative well-being into your everyday life. The practice of living awareness, Spirit Fire's own meditation practice, is built on this belief and is designed for every level of practitioner. Each year, Spirit Fire hosts living awareness meditation retreats that allow you to explore the practice in depth at our retreat center in beautiful Western Massachusetts. Introduce yourself to meditation and the practice at the Foundation's retreat. Attend, in silence, a silent meditation retreat focused on mindfulness, presence, and nature, or be engaged with the meditation sittings themselves at the Deepening Retreat. Start adding to your awareness and attend a meditation retreat designed to cultivate consciousness in your everyday life. For details on attending a Living Awareness meditation retreat, visit upcoming events at www.spiritfire.com.
What is a brilliant culture, and how do we create them? Why are they important? Claudette Rowley has created a breakthrough 5-step process to help you align your culture with your business strategy for exceptional results. Looking for a culture that drives organizational excellence? Listen to Cultural Brilliance Radio, the second and fourth Friday of each month at 10 a.m. Pacific and 1 p.m. Eastern on Transformation Talk Radio. To learn more or work with Claudette, visit culturalbrilliance.com.
Gifted intuitive healer and spiritual teacher Sarah Luce brings her unique style to the hit show Small Steps, Big Breakthrough Radio on TransformationTalkRadio.com. Tune in each month as Sarah turns reality on end and shows us how to experience expansive results with simple yet powerful steps. Expect an enlightening bend on what you currently believe is possible. For show details and upcoming topics, visit sarahluce.com. That's SARALOOS.com.
Are you stuck in unhealthy habits, toxic relationships, and low self-esteem? Do you crave a life of inspiration, love, self-acceptance, and fun? Sounds like you're on the verge to your next big thing. Join Laura Richer, host of On the Verge Radio, helping you use your breakdown for a breakthrough, overcome life's greatest challenges, and live the life you want and deserve. Tune in each month on Transformation Talk Radio or visit SeattleHealingHypnosis.com for more information.
Thrive is what we experience when our mind, body, and soul operate as one. When we thrive, we excel on all levels. Thrive is the mindset that matters. It is essential to our being. Have you ever found yourself looking for the instruction manual on how to thrive? You'll find everything you need to help you feel strong, powerful, and peaceful in your own body. So don't waste any more time. Visit thrivebyjen.com today.
Okay, you guys, we are back on Rewired Life Radio, where we learn to love, heal, and celebrate. I'm your host, Audrey Michel, and we just spent the last couple of segments speaking with my guest, Michelle Tegola, about worthiness in your life, worthiness in your business. And again, I'm taking your questions about shifting out of that yucky place of not feeling good enough and into feeling totally worth it, right? Don't we all want that? To just like, the faster we can get out of that cruddy feeling and back into high vibing. So I'm taking your calls. You can call the station, and Justin will pick up at 800-930-2819, or you can type in the chat box. If you go to Transformation rewiredtalkradio.com. There's a place where you can type in your questions as well. So for those of you who listen to the show regularly, you know the fourth segment. It's where I really like to ask, how do you show up in your life with intention? So, of course, a little bit different today, but we're going to frame this. We're going to reframe this in a way of how do you intentionally check in with yourself to see if you're operating from this place of feeling not good enough? Michelle and I were talking about it's sneaky. It's a sneaky little thing. It likes to fly under the radar and take over whatever it is you're doing without you even noticing. And like we said, recognition is absolutely the first step. Like, unless you can recognize that you're operating from a place of feeling not good enough, there's not much you can do for yourself. So here's what's going on. How can you recognize and be intentional and check in with yourself and see if you're operating from a place of not feeling good enough? So, Dr. Pat and I were talking about this on Monday. Being able to check in with yourself, it takes the ability to quiet the noise around, not only around you, but within you, right? There's just as much noise inside of our head, inside of our body, as there is on the outside. So, I talk about this in terms of this process, in terms of loving yourself first. And it really does start with love, loving yourself enough to take a deep breath and check in. So your body, trust me, I do this, like, this is my life now. Your body will tell you if you give it the space to speak. If you just give it the space to speak, right? If you treat your body like a small child, if you ask that small child a question, chances are they're going to answer it. So if you ask your body the question, are you operating from a place of feeling not good enough? Like, are we feeling not good enough right now? Your body will answer. So you just have to be in a place of receiving that information. And that's where a lot of us get stuck. We weren't exactly, me anyway, I wasn't exactly raised with the tools to be like, okay, body, are we feeling not good enough today? That didn't happen. I don't have those tools. I had to teach myself those tools. I had to go find those tools. So don't feel bad if you're just like, oh, Audrey, what are you talking about? Like, I do not know how that works. But like I said, if you just sit in silence and ask and then listen, and that's a courageous place to be, to sit with yourself and actually listen to what your body has to say. So many of us just like to shut it down. So really sit and listen. Okay, so here's the deal. During the break, a question came in from a woman named Angela in Denver, and she says, I'm a young professional working in a very competitive job market. I've been very successful thus far in my career. Congratulations. And have never had any poor reviews by managers or peers, but I'm constantly feeling self-doubt, mainly around my ability to create new ideas or tackle complex problems. And she says, I'm not sure when these thoughts started because it hasn't always been this way. So she wants to know, is what I'm going through related to these short circuits and pathways and to worthiness? And do you have any tips to stop these negative thoughts and feelings that continue to come up? So a few things. Yes, absolutely. These underlying feelings of worthiness, it is what you're going through. And this is absolutely your neuroplastic pathways creating a short circuit that isn't really helpful. And it is difficult to understand where this started. Obviously, just over the radio, I would need to dig a little bit deeper with you to understand where it started. But sometimes that's not even important, where it started or why it started. The important part is that you're noticing, right? So it's possible that these things, I think Michelle and I were talking about this earlier, it's possible that these things have been running under the radar long before you started noticing, long before today, when you're just like, ooh, I think I might be going through these worthiness problems. But like I said with Michelle, the universe really it only starts to show you problems when you're ready to deal with them. And so apparently today, lately, the universe is like, hey, guess what? We've got some worthiness problems and we are ready to look at that. And so that's huge. First of all, give yourself a congratulations. Come from a place of love, of being like, hey, awesome. I'm going to be able to deal with this now. And so some of the things, tips for you quickly here in our last couple minutes, it's something to know. Sometimes there's just nothing to do necessarily. We're such a do culture, but sometimes it's just something to know and to notice. And then you can come from a place of forgiveness. I like to talk about this mantra a lot, saying to yourself, I forgive you, I'm sorry, and I love you. So again, it's just something to know, and then come from this place of forgiveness for yourself and love for yourself. And then, like Michelle and I were talking, get to that 30,000 foot view, get out of the weeds, get into the air, get on that airplane, and ask yourself, looking down, is this serving you? Is it serving you to continually repeat in your mind, oh my God, I don't think I feel worth it? Where did this start? Again, like I said, my guest, Denise Onofre, had said our brain likes to create problems because it likes to solve problems. Is that what's going on? Is it actually real that you're not worth it? Or is it just a problem that your mind and your ego are creating for itself to solve? So start to question, is this serving me? Get out of the littleness, get into the bigger view of your life. And ask yourself, is this serving me? So, during my 6 week masterclass, Soul Awakening, I'll be sharing more of these tips of how to shift out of feeling not good enough and any other of these yucky feelings that aren't serving our overall life. And again, we're spending this month of August on Rewired Life Radio discussing these topics that go within the class. And you can go to audreymichel.com and find out more about this class. You can also go to my Facebook group, and we're going to be talking more about this here shortly as I go live on Facebook. It's Rewired Life-Awakening. So you can join me there. But as we close here, rewiring your life is about creating a new nervous system, creating new neuroplastic pathways, and breaking these short circuits to our emotions that are not serving us well. We do this one choice at a time, moment by moment. And with a new nervous system, you'll be a new person looking at the world with new glasses. So if you're ready to look at your life differently, to heal your wounds, to shift your thinking, I have several ways we can work together. Of course, the online class that I'm talking about, one-on-one coaching, and you can absolutely learn more by going to Audrey Michel, spelled MICHEL.com. All the info is right there on my webpage. So I want to thank my guest today, Michelle Tegola, and for her sharing her story, for sharing her beautiful work. And thank all of you for tuning in to Rewired Life Radio. You can join me every Wednesday at noon Pacific at rewiredliferadio.com. And next week, I'm so excited. We are going to learn, or unlearn, more importantly, unlearn these negative patterns we have picked up or created for ourselves, and then redefine success in our own life. So that's it. You guys have a great week, and tune in next Wednesday for more Rewired Life Radio.
You've been listening to Rewired Life Radio. Learn to love, heal, celebrate with author, speaker, and spiritual growth coach Audrey Michel. You can listen live each Wednesday at 12 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern on TransformationTalkRadio.com. Download the podcast and connect with Audrey at audreymichel.com. That's Audrey Michel, spelled MICHEL.com.